Time to take a look at Chaos Dwarfs versus Elves, starting with Wood Elves. Yes, this is potentially a nightmare matchup on paper in many ways for the Wood Elves, given the massive amounts of fire damage for Chaos Dwarfs. Pretty much means that you can't use trees here. And also, they're very much not like the Dwarfs in that they have some very good offensive tools. This one's against Battlesy, and already off the bat, I can tell you, my build's inspired by greenskins. Often greenskins go with a wide cavalry rush, with lots of light cavalry, heavy cavalry mix. So I'm going to take inspiration from that here. And in this build, I've got 2 Bull Centaur renders, some Hobgoblin Wolf Rider spears scattered around. We've got 3 Wolf Rider archers as well, lots of Goblin laborers, a couple of shielded Chaos Dwarf warriors. I'm going to try and make them work here. Obviously, the shields, Dwarf warriors and Chaos Dwarf warriors both now get 55% missile block chance. Or shields again on the Bull Centaurs as well with 55% missile block chance. So very important. Got a Lore Fire Sorcerer Prophet up in the air, and he's going to be getting that sweet Kindle Flame proc, throwing that Fireball. He's also got this Vial of Heshut item, gives massive weakness to fire and negative armor. We're going to be using all of that to try and counter skirmish the Sisters of Twilight, whose Battlesy is very wisely brought here. He's also got the Enigmas of Zyran, Regiment of Renowned Zotes, a very nice choice as well. Firebark Elders, of course, probably going to be absolute meta in this matchup, given they are AoE fire resistance. And then lots of archers and spearmen. Lord of Beasts here for the Spell Singer. We've got some Deepwood Scouts and Glade Guards mixed. Looks like just regular Glade Guards. You wouldn't really want to bring the Starfire Shafts here. I mean, the benefit from the armor piercing might still be enough, even with a fire resistance. I have to actually do the math and think about it a little bit, but of course, the choo-choo up front for me as well. This Iron Demon, going to be a little bit of a rush tool, but we're going to have to maneuver somewhat and try and get my cavalry past this front line of spears. So we find some gaps, and, Battlesy invested pretty heavily in the ranged units here, so that's potentially going to be a problem as one unit of Bull Centaurs does get through. Hobgoblins are getting caught up on spears, though, on that far side, and here I'm going to miss my charge temporarily, and those Hobgoblins are taking some pretty serious damage as a result. I'm moving my Wolf Raider archers even, over here to try and combine with the Sorcerer Prophet, all shooting to try and countershoot the Sisters of Twilight. They're my only ranged units, so it's really my only option for trying to get at them. Of course, I could go try and fight them in melee with the Sorcerer Prophet, but with the density of archers still alive, I'm worried about getting focus fired. From Battlesy's perspective, targeting priority-wise, he should probably switch to the anti-large shot and just try and focus down my Sorcerer Prophet. I can heal him. It's a little bit janky, though. Like, I have to fly near to an enemy caster, I believe. I'll have to find the ability here in a second. I believe he has it, but anyway. Yeah, the Wolf Riders, although we do manage to land home on some archers, of course, Elven leadership manages to hold them for the time being. The Iron Demon also taking some fairly significant damage, focus fire from the archers, but now has an opportunity to do some nice disruption. Should be firing on the move. It's currently not working properly, but those 2 little flame cannons on the front should also be shooting the whole time while it's moving. But even still, it's able to provide against disruption here. We get that Vial of Heshut on Sisters of Twilight. They take a huge amount of burst damage. It's going to pull a regrowth out from Battlesy to respond there, make sure the Sisters stay nice and topped up. But surprisingly, I mean, the cavalry rush did get through onto a number of targets, but the Zotes now being deployed against the Bull Centaurs. Zotes are going to be a pretty good match for them. The anti-large Zotes will be much better, obviously. The shields really going to benefit. I mean, the melee defense is nice, but anti-large Bull Centaurs would obviously be better in this matchup. Not to mention, of course, the Eternal Guards also nearby, so it's a tough situation for that unit of renders. The other renders, though, still getting some pretty good value, and the Chaos Dwarf Warriors also, if we get in close, you can see them managed to get in with the Deepwood Scouts in melee, which is a great situation for them to be in. Be trading very cost effectively with their extra offensive stats, especially. So a lot of the peripheral archers also being cleaned up as my Wolf Raiders come back. They can be used effectively to chase these routing units as much as possible, but have also taken some damage. They're fairly expensive. I mean, they're basically the same cost as like Elven light cavalry, right? So given that they have significantly less HP, they are very squishy for the cost. But let's see, Sisters of Twilight managed to get away there. They're going to get over to the support of the Zotes and try and form up a little dense kind of defensive position here, which is definitely smart. Get with the Firebark Elders, potentially get some fire resistance, but the whole time I've just been slinging fireballs and shooting with the various units. Of course, the flare pistol from Sorcerer Prophet gives flammable, not to mention Ogla Khan's Wolf Boys also with their shooting attack give flammable, so we're able to stack weakness to fire pretty consistently, even without that Vial of Hashut, but Wolf Rider Archers still don't do all that much damage, especially with the HP damage that they've taken. And Wolf Raiders going to be cleaning up again. Melee, a little fireball there. And again, really I should be just chasing. I mean, the problem is here, only 80 speed on the Bull Taurus. Or the Bale Taurus? Great Taurus. I don't know. Whichever one this is. It's the lower tier one. Great Taurus, I believe it is. But yeah, it's less speed, and this thing, obviously, Sisters of Twilight on their fancy Great Eagle are quite fast, so there's not really a great chance of me catching them. I figure might as well just try and shoot them to death. It's really going to be the best option for me. But eventually I will try and get them in melee as they kind of turn around in here. Try and sneak past, but a couple of hits from the big flying cow in the air. And there we go. They are going to get their self-heal, though, and again, that speed means I won't really be able to chase them off very effectively. He will continue to fire his flare pistol as they kind of chase, but anyway, taking a look at the rest of the army here. This nice pocket of Eternal Guards and the Firebark Elders. I don't really have any AoE magic damage to punish this right now. No Searing Doom or anything like that, so I'm just going to have to duke it out. Bull Centaurs getting blocked here. Wild Flock of Doom coming in to deal some damage. And both those units are pretty much done for, but just bringing everything else in. These two Chaos Dwarf Warriors also will help in this late game. Try and finish off this blob. Ogla Khan's Wolf Boys also getting some shots. Again, couldn't catch the Sisters. I don't know, I guess he hard landed over there. I could go try and catch him again, but just going to get some shots in here. Try and get the flammable effect to negate the fire resistance. Firebark Elders, of course, giving that sweet AoE flame resistance there. A little fireball. Blasts in. I really love the new VFX for Lore of Fire, I have to say. And it's a full surround on the blob, more or less, for me, although a lot of my troops are having major leadership issues. We're just about through the last of the Elves, though, and the Sisters are once again getting pursued, both on the ground and in the air. Just continuing the pressure on them at this point. They've just about used up the rest of their ammunition, and they're getting pretty close to their healing cap as well, so they've definitely tanked out a surprising amount of damage. And I have had to put in probably more value than it's worth at the end of the day and try to focus with different missiles and things. But anyway, those Wolf Riders just immediately run away. Take one look at the Firebark Elders, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to get lit on fire by a swinging, flaming tree branch, so maybe not. Here, though, the Lore of Beastcaster gets caught by Ogla Khan's Wolf Boys, which, by the way, have one of the coolest skins for any unit in the game, in my opinion. I absolutely love, like, the Step Goblin aesthetic. Oof, they just cut her down straight up, so that's very brutal, showing off their enhanced melee stats, and with her going down, Sisters get terrified. That's going to lead to a chain rout, and good thing, too. I mean, I probably could have killed the Firebark Elders cycle charging for a long time, but it would have been very, very tough. So, fun battle, nice build from Battlesy. I think, obviously, overinvested a little bit too much in the range units. He'd probably agree. Even just trading a couple of these out for like cavalry of his own, maybe to defend his backline, some Blade Riders to try and counteract the Hobgoblins. I haven't tested them 1v1. I don't know how they would trade, but something tells me because the Elves actually have more HP, which is a situation they don't find themselves in often, they probably would win that. I'm not sure, though. I mean, certainly, for me, they all ended up being cost-effective chasing archers. It's definitely nice. Also, the first time I've had a regular Chaos Dwarf Warrior pay for themselves, which pretty much both of them did. Nice to see there. That offensive potential and the extra missile block chance definitely helped here against all this. Bull Centaurs, one of them doesn't pay for themselves, one of them does. A lot of people think these guys are OP. I definitely don't. I think it kind of shows their strengths and weakness, given these two units' performance. If they get swarmed and dragged down, like the Zotes here, ended up not actually getting as much value as I thought they would, but they trade pretty well. Iron Demon, unfortunately, doesn't pay for itself either, but more of a fun pick. Disruption, and, you know, the Terror also pretty nice. It's not that expensive, so tactically, you know, with the damage plus the Terror, maybe it paid for itself. I don't actually know if it got any Terror outs, come to think of it, but certainly Oglucon's Wolf Boys are awesome. The rest of the Wolf Rider Archers didn't do that great, but they're here, you know. And the Laborers often are very nice. They actually can trade cost effectively against archers and such. Really nice value just spamming Flock of Doom, though, for that Spellsinger of Beasts. The Firebark Elders didn't output much damage. Again, I would probably always bring them here just because that fire resistance is going to be so applicable in so many different ways against Chaos Dwarfs. Yeah, the rest of the build here, again, some units ended up struggling, some units ended up doing well. It's a tough matchup, I think, for Wood Elves, because just looking at things on paper, if I go ahead and flip on over to the thing here, so, you know, again, the tree units, it's really tough to use, and you might still want to take a couple of Dryads just to try and clear out, like, Noblars and Laborers, potentially, but they're gonna get punished really hard by, I mean, I say punished really hard. A lot of the stuff that does fire damage, like the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders, yeah, they also do physical damage, so, I mean, you are bypassing the physical resistance more or less by subjecting the weakness to fire. I guess it's a net minus 5%, so you are getting a little bit of a damage boost. Probably not enough to make a difference, to be honest, but anyway. Yeah, and from the rest of the roster, again, light cavalry, 550. Let's just look at the stats of Glade Rider Spears in comparison. Same exact cost to Wolf Raiders, and notice the difference in HP. 1200 HP is a huge difference, and certainly is enough to where the Glade Riders should win consistently, like 9 out of 10 times. I can't really foresee a situation where they would lose. I mean, I guess 30 armor is a pretty decent difference, but it's not enough to make up for 1200 HP, I don't think. So hopefully I get to test that more in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a testing stream this weekend if I can wrangle someone in. Now that they've fixed the desync issue, I can actually get some like proper testing with some various unit types. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in watching. Thank you very much for watching this. If you got this far, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. If you're not, thanks again. See you next time.